Oh, good afternoon, everyone. It's Jen here with another Tech Tips 411 Summer PD series session. And today we're going to be talking all about Adobe Spark creation tools. I'm super excited to share with you some ways that you can use Adobe Spark with your learners. It's super cool, super fun tool. And I'm excited to share some ideas with you. This is the first time I've done this session. So I pulled together some of my favorite ideas for using Adobe Spark. And so hopefully you guys are going to find some ideas and get excited about using the tools with your learners. So if you just happened upon this video and you don't know who I am, my name is Jennifer Hall, and I'm an educational technology specialist with Atlanta Public Schools. And what that means is that I collaborate with teachers on planning engaging lessons, and I provide the instructional technology training support at schools throughout the district. So super fun job. I love working with teachers to engage their learners. So our goals for today's session are to explore Adobe Spark apps and tools. So if you're not familiar with Adobe Spark, we're going to do a little dive into that so you get familiar with the options that are available with Adobe Spark. And we're also going to gain some project ideas utilizing Adobe Spark. So we're going to talk about how you can use it in different content areas and ways that you can engage your learners. So that's our goals. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. So if you're not familiar with Adobe Spark, you can head over to spark.adobe.com and you can check out this. What's great is it's a free tool. There's, of course, always the free and then the freemium. But I'm able to do whatever I want to do. Really, most of the stuff I want to do in the free version, and we'll talk about kind of what the upgrade options provide you. So what's cool is that not only is it web-based, but there also are apps, and we'll talk about that as well. So the Adobe Spark tools, there's actually 3 tools and 3 separate components when we look at the mobile apps. So again, spark.adobe.com, and you can dive in. So there's 3 different components, and the first is Adobe Spark Video. And so what's cool about Adobe Spark Video is it's an easy to use creation tool for you to use with your learners. And we're going to try this and see if this is going to play. Hopefully audio is going to come through for you. Don't love hearing my own voice, but we're going to try it. Camera. For those of you that just hopped in, video production. Let me know where you're tuning in from. The 21st century skills, known as the 4 C's. 21st century skills are essential for college and career readiness. We're going to pull a pause here on that quick little video. So this is actually a video that I created about why you would want to use video production in the classroom, and I did it in Adobe Spark. And what's cool is Adobe Spark is drag and drop interface. You can add in elements and stuff, and it's super easy to use. And we're going to dive in and look at it behind the scenes here right now. So let's go in. If you don't already have an account, you just log in. You can link it to your Google account, your Microsoft account. But once you're in, we're going to go here. If I want to create a new project, let's just go back here to the home page so you can see the main landing page here. I can see I can view all projects, and I can see that there's really 3 different types of tools. I'm going to go back to my home page. There we go. You'll notice I've got all these different options here. I can do Instagram posts, all that kind of good stuff. There we go. But if I want to view all of the different types, we're going to talk about that there's 3 different types. So there's videos, web pages, and graphics. So what I want to look at is the video tool. They already have templates that are available in there, which is great, because oftentimes when you want your students to create content, you don't want them to focus on making it so jazzy as much as about the content. I guess that's one of the things that, my students, when I was an ELA teacher, used to get lost in creating their PowerPoints and putting in the slide transitions and the bells and the whistles and making the, text all spin out and all that good stuff. So I'd rather my students focus on the content. So they have these different templates ready to go so you can go and see what they are, and you can just grab one, or you can start from scratch. So I'm just going to go ahead here and say create a project, and I want to just Well, all right. Bear with me here, but power outage. It's raining here in here in Tucker, and I just had a power outage. I think everyone froze. It wasn't. I apologize, guys. This is the first time this has happened. So luckily, my one computer went completely offline, and I just switched over to my my laptop. Thank you for hanging in and not disappearing on me. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to pull up the slide deck on this computer because I guess I should have planned when it started to rain that it was going to do that. So I apologize. While I got everybody there, though, do you mind, Peyton? I apologize. First time this has happened. But those of you guys tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you've used Adobe Spark before, let me know. Any of the tools. And we're going to get going here in just a second. You got to love technology, and technology fails on you. I can't do much about the internet when the internet goes out like that. Big lightning and a flash, and you guys went away. So I apologize. There we go. We're about to be in business here. All right. Wow, I got someone in here from the UK. My friend Julia, all the way over from the UK. I'm so excited to see you guys. Please hang in. 2 more seconds. 2 more seconds. Again, I apologize. The struggle is real when the internet just decided to cut out on me. Again, first time that's happened. That's all right. We're going to be back in business here in just a second. Back to our slide deck. There we go. All right. All right. I've got right here. I got someone from APS that has not used Adobe Spark. Awesome. But I got to give a shout out. We got someone all the way in from the UK hanging in. Just curious, what time is it? It's late for you guys. You guys are like six hours ahead of us. New to Spark. I teach math at Grady. Hello, Miss Williams. Yes, thank you. So glad you got the bright red hair. I do know you, Miss Williams, and I'm super excited. I think you're going to get some ideas here. All right. So let's head back over here to the slide deck. We're gonna click through here and get caught back up. All right, here, and make sure the magic is happening. And you guys are being troopers for hanging in because the struggle bus. I've been doing sessions every day for a week and a half, and this is my first technical glitch. How did I know that today would be the day? When there's rain, I should have known. All right, there we go. We're back in business. All right, so we went to Adobe Spark for those that just on and are too late. 7 p.m. Yes, so it's past dinner time for you. Good to know. That's what Julia joining all the way from the UK. I love it. All right, so let's hook on here to the Spark, adobe.spark.com, and we're going to be back in it. And that's how I knew I was out when all of a sudden it said, you are no longer logged on. All right, so we're going to continue with Google. We're going to be back inside here in just 2 seconds. There we go. And we're going to Magic is hanging, screen 2, application window. If anyone hasn't used, I'm using StreamYard to do this, which is pretty slick, but I had already logged in everything on one computer, and now I got to log in everything on this one as well. That's all right. We got it. Magic is happening. There we go. We're logging into Adobe Spark. So great thing. It's free. Free, my favorite price. So there's a freemium option in the sense that if you want to upgrade, for the free version, it's going to put Adobe Spark logo on everything you create, which it's down in the bottom of the corner. I don't really care that it says that. And if you're having your student create things, totally cool to have it look like that. So here we are on that main page. And so it's like a rewind. We're going to go in here. We're going to look at view all, and you can see there's tons of different project options. And we're going to focus on the video ones first. So when I go into video, I can choose a template. Again, starting from scratch is great, or you can have your students start with a template. So you might say for the first time they create something, you might say, hey, we're all going to use the same template. I just want you to focus on the content. Okay. So, but if I want to create one from scratch, I can just go up here and I want to say create a video. A little magic's happening here. What's great is this is web-based. I've logged in with my Google account, so that means I can work on it on my PC and my laptop. I can actually use the mobile app. Do here will also show up down. So this summer PD, give it a name so we know what my story is called. And notice once I got in, if I didn't pick a template, I could choose a theme that they have in here. So they've got, am I promoting an idea, telling what's happened? So think about it right now. If you had students working on projects with a retelling about what's happening in current events right now, you could definitely have them grab any one of these, teach a lesson. So there's ready-made templates, or I can start from scratch. So I'm just going to choose start from scratch. So when I do that, I'm in, and whatever changes I'm making are going to be accessible on any of my devices because it's saved in the cloud. So that's always great. So they have this nice little intro video here that explains this, but guess what? You've got me live walking you through it. So that's what we're going to do. So this is the interface right here for Adobe Spark Video. I've got options for full screen, split screen, captions, or so forth. So I can pick what my screen is going to look like. And then I can add elements. Pretty straightforward. So this works really well for elementary, middle, and high. Doesn't matter your grade band, what level your students are working on, is they can easily add in videos. So they can shoot videos that have already been filmed on a phone or an iPad or on a webcam. I can add in text. I can add in photos. I can add in icons, which really, if you want this to be a visual thing, they can have just little cues for them to do voiceover work. And that's the other really powerful thing that I like about it, is that it lets you record and it's going to attach it to each of those pages. So I can add multiple pages down here. And when I record, it's going to help me track with how many seconds I've done my recording for each page. So right now I've got 2 seconds worth of space over here. I can actually go in here. I can add elements here. Under photos, I can search for, because it's an Adobe product, I can pull in stuff from their free photos. So, which is great, which means, it's going to be a safe option. They do have Adobe stock. So that means that's that freemium option. If you're logging in and your district has paid for an education plan, you're going to have access to those resources as well. And you can link it to your Creative Cloud account. You can link it to your Lightroom. So for me as a photographer, I think it's a really cool tool because I could pull in my photos that I've saved in my Lightroom and bring them in. I connect it to Dropbox. So if you have a shared Google Dropbox folder that you have resources in, you want your students to use, you can do that. I connect it to Google Photos or to my Google Drive. Again, that's a great option that if you have, these are the resources I want you to use in your creation, and you could share that out with your students and they can access it there. So I can add anything right in there. So I can also go in here and change, again, there's that layout option, full screen, split screen, caption, and text. Not a ton of options, but it can still be powerful storytelling. The purpose of using this is I want to focus on the content, not as much on the design, but I can get a little creative. So I can go into themes. So if you want to color, use different colors, a different look or feel, like I like this noir, and now they've added in, you've got different colors for that look and feel. So depending on what the message is, what the content is that you're talking about, but you'll notice up here where it says add your brand, that's that premium option. So right now it's going to say this Adobe Spark down here. If you'll notice right here, it says Adobe Spark underneath the time, I can see that. But if I upgrade, then I can put in my own like Tech Tips 411 logo if I chose to do that. Okay. So I can resize, which means I'm going to change this from a widescreen to a square. So that's teaching students. Okay. So widescreen means that's something you're going to watch on a computer or a TV screen, versus square is social media. That's what you're going to see on Twitter and Instagram. So I can do that. And the other cool thing is they've also got a bank of music. So I can also bring in music that's appropriate for the content I'm trying to share, but also I can upload my own music. So this is really cool for students that want to add in their own creations. So let's take a look here. I'm going to show you guys this right here. I've got a couple of ideas that I want to share. There it is. Of ones that are just some ideas you might want to try, ways you can use this with your students. So this is not an exhaustive list by any means, but this is just a couple of ideas just for using video with different subject areas. How about for art, that you create a biography of a famous artist? Very cool. They can bring in the images of those famous artworks and they talk about the artists and what type of art they created. How about in social studies for creating documentaries or current event news shows? So they could do kind of a highlight of the week, or highlight the different time periods that they've studied in social studies, or maybe speeches, debates. How about in math? So I got a math teacher on here. How about math, using it to teach a math concept? So taking one of those concepts you've learned in math and have them explain it, because they can upload images. So if they use a tool like Jamboard to annotate a math problem, they can save that as an image and they can upload it, and then they could walk through their thinking on it. Okay. Or if they've screen recorded something in using like a tool like Screencastify, they could also bring those in as well and be able to talk through their thinking in math. Great for explaining formulas. For science, how about recording snippets of a science experiment and how they learned about a science concept in science class? That works for all grade levels. How about foreign language? Maybe a newscast or a travel guide for the countries that they're studying in their foreign language class. So these are just a few ideas of how you could use just video with your students in using Adobe Spark. So just curious, did anybody get an idea, or did anyone go, hey, that actually looks pretty simple, pretty easy and user-friendly for my students to use? What do you think? So here's some bonuses to it. So if you notice up here, I'm going to point out a couple other features that I can go up here and I can choose to download my video. So after I've made my creation, I can download it. I can also choose to share it. But here's the more powerful part is I can also go here. So I've got download, I've got over here, I can choose to add a collaborator. So this means that I can share it with someone in my class. If it's a team project that we're working on, I can choose to share this resource out and we can work collaboratively. So it's another great way if you make one that as a template that you share out for your students, and then you could share it and then they can make a copy of it. So I really like the fact that you can collaborate with it. And then when you choose to share it, you've got the options of publishing it or inviting people to see it. In my publish options, I can add some information, a little subtitle, and I can create a link. And then I can share that link out to folks if I want. But if I download it, I could put it in a Google Drive and then embed it in a website. Once you download it, you can upload it to Flipgrid. So if you're doing a little app smashing, so kids can create their content inside of Adobe Spark and then post it into a Flipgrid. And the advantage of doing that is I absolutely love, say it again, I absolutely love Flipgrid. And they have a powerful editing tool and video creation tool. But the one thing is, it's from start to finish. So if I start a project, I've got to finish it and submit it. There's no saving. Whereas here, as a student, I could start on it during class and then I can work on it for homework. So it can be an ongoing, kind of a deeper level type of project. But then I can export it and upload it to that Flipgrid to share with my classmates. So just kind of an idea you might want to consider there. So that's the video tool. Pretty simple, pretty slick. What are we thinking? I see that Miss Williams says, yes, you got some ideas for math. And guess what? We're going to talk and plan about some ways we can use it with your math students at Grady. Super excited for that. Anybody else? Ideas, thoughts? What do you think? All right, so let's take a look. Because I said there's 3 tools in this suite. So the next one is Post. And when we talk about Post, you're going to think of it as like Instagram, Twitter, social media posts, or creating infographics. It's a one-page design. That's the goal of it. So some ways you might want to use this, and we're going to take a look at what it looks like, but having students create current events announcements, having them do posts about poetry or literary work. How about a word or phrase of the day? So for some vocabulary piece, even that would work great for foreign language, for them to do kind of like highlight a vocabulary of the week. For music or chorus, it's a great way to do an infographic to advertise an upcoming performance. In math, it'd be great for that vocabulary piece as well. You might have one infographic that explains a concept or a formula. The same thing with science. So it's a one-page resource. So let's take a look at that one, okay? So I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to go back to this home button. And that home button up here in the left-hand corner takes me back to where all the good stuff is. And now notice I've got these other options. So we're going to go back to View All. Okay. And under View All, you'll see now I've got this option that says graphics. So let's look at graphics. Tons of options. The advantage of having this is I know I do a lot of social media type stuff. I post on Instagram, I post on Twitter, I post on my Facebook page. The hard thing is always remembering what size is each thing, because Twitter's one size and Instagram's another size and Facebook is another size. And if I want to put it on my website, that's another size. But here I can go in and be like, all right, I'm designing something for X, Y, or Z. So maybe you're doing a project with your students and they have a mock business and they have to create a social media campaign for their mock business, for their proposal that they've created in social studies. Okay. So I can go in here and I can use this, and I've already got the layouts of what size it's going to be, or it's given me kind of a start or inspiration. Okay. But otherwise, if I want to choose something else, I can choose in here and I just want to create a flyer. And then I'm going to start kind of from scratch. It's going to give me some options. Notice I've still got templates to help me with it, but I've got this one page to work with. And you'll notice down here in the bottom, it does have that Adobe branding. I'm okay with that. If you want to upgrade, you can choose to do that. And then the Adobe branding will go away. But notice I'm under flyer. It's giving me some examples. So I could actually start with, look at this film festival. I do a lot of film fests with our Shakespeare project. All right. All right. So if I want to get some of the templates, notice here's the thing. See that little ribbon? That's telling me that it's a pay. That's one of those upgrade ones. They got me. I didn't look close enough, but let's go to open mic night. That one right there does not have that little ribbon on it. So I can grab this one and I can customize it. So if you see where it has that little Adobe little gold ribbon at the top, that means it's one of the premium ones. You're going to get some more options in there. All right. It's thinking about my template. The magic is happening. There we go. So now I've got so now I can really just go in here and change content by changing the element I want. Notice what else I can go here and I can add text. Okay. I can add different text styles, so I can change that stuff out right there. Okay. I can choose types. I go into color branding. I can add in shapes. I can add in effects, so I can do shadows, stuff like that. That levels up your graphic design, which I think is a really cool feature, that you have an option in there to do like cutout letters and change things like that. And I can go in here and go into the style, and I can look at this. I can do this little wheel, which is going to kind of mix and match what text might look like. And I can go, oh, that looks better. So again, I'm focusing on the content as a student. I can jazz it up, but I'm not spending too much time on the design. Okay. So again, I have this collaboration option up here. I can download it. I can choose to share it. And there's a little magical button up here. I can undo whatever I did. If I didn't like my changes, I can do that as well. So I can add in layouts. I can change out the layout. So I've got like this page here. I can shuffle it, give me a new layout. Ooh, I don't like that. Don't like that. Don't like that. So I'm like a kid. I can go keep trying it. And look, it's going to automatically move the text boxes for me. So again, I'm focusing on getting a good clean look, and now I can add in the content that I want to use. Okay. So that would be using Post. What do you think? Pretty cool tool. Can you see a way that you could use this with your students? Having them create infographics, having them create one-pagers? Just wondering. Drop it in the chat if you think that, yeah, this would be pretty slick as a way for your students to create content. And also for you as well, as you're doing instructional resources, you can use this as well. And because you can collaborate, if you have a team teacher, you could say, hey, I started on this design. I'm going to send it to you. Give me feedback or add to it or change out if you want, which is super cool. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's see here. We got the third tool that we want to look in this toolbox here. So we've talked about video. So it's Adobe Spark Video, Adobe Spark Post. And the third one is Adobe Spark Page. And that is actually being able to create a website template, a resource that is a website, which is really, really cool. So a couple of ways you might want to use that. Let's talk about it. So for current events announcements, the struggle is real again. I apologize. The internet dropped off again. Whew. Those of you that are hanging in and watching this craziness as it unfolds, I apologize. Miss Williams says, I love it. So we're talking about for the post option here. We're jumping right back in. Miss Williams says, great for vocabulary to create virtual word walls. I love it. Yes, because you can do it. You can print them, or you could do virtual word walls, because a lot of teachers have been creating virtual classrooms, basically a design of what their in-person classroom would look like, and you could have that all in the room. I love that idea. Miss Ortegon says, you like the infographics idea. Awesome. Again, thank you guys for hanging in. I'm so sorry we're having the technical struggle bus internet today, but hopefully you're still gleaning some good ideas here. So I love for the foreign language. It would be great for a resource site if we dump into the Adobe Spark Page and making a resource page. I think that you could use the Adobe Spark Page idea of, thank you, Ms. Williams. I appreciate you hanging in. How about the idea of switching to YouTube? Okay. All right. It should be streaming to both. Yeah, come on in. It shows that I'm going out on both, but this is the fun thing about being in your own little studio here. So I'm just in my own little personal space. talking to myself, hoping that people are listening and tuning in. So let's take a look at some other options here. So I'm going to bring this back up here with some more ideas of Adobe Spark Page. So Spark Page is the website version. So you can create what looks like a website page. So I remember that we used to have kids create little mini wiki pages in language arts as a project. So this would be great for a writer's blog or for a book review hub. How about an art portfolio? Oh, thank you, Julia. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks for checking it out. You get back, you can go back. The archive will be available later for you can tune in. But I love that you all the way across the pond you tuned in and you got to catch the crazy one with the internet struggle bus. Thank you, Julia. Take care, friend. So let's look at some other options here. I think that are really, really cool. Maybe with your students for health and PE, doing a nutrition blog or an exercise blog. Or again, for math, you could have it be a math concepts in the real world where students actually kind of blog about how they're experiencing what they've learned about math concepts in the real world. I think that'd be really cool. What about a content vocabulary resource site for each of your each of your subject areas, math, science, social studies, world language, any of those? You could use Adobe Spark Page as that hub, and it's a simple, sleek tool to use. So let's take a look at that. Let's hop over here, internet permitting. We're going to save that temporary post there. Awesome. So we're going to go over here. We're going to say view all, and we're going to go over here. So now we've got graphics was our infographics using post, web pages. And the reason they're different is that if you log in on the app, it's going to be either you go to the video app, you go to the post app, or you go to the page. So let's take a look here at the web pages option. And what's great about this is it's also giving me templates. I've got my popular ones, grow your business, teach and study. So it's a report page, which is really cool. So already they've got one to get your students started. So let's take a look to see more. We got some other options here. Again, they're going to get us with the watch for the little yellow tab up here. That means it's on the premium version where you need to upgrade. But others, look at, there's lots of options here. So if I wanted to do a tech report podcast, there we go. I can go ahead and I want to edit this template. And this is going to now be my start for my web page. Now, I think this is pretty cool because I can go in here and I can change out this. Okay. I can go in and add different elements. So I can text, photos, icons, logos as well. I can change the template options. I can go into the design option and look at the variations of this. If I decide I like this coloring better, let's remix it. Oh, I like that layout better for sure. Okay. So now I'm going to go in here and I want to give this a name. So this is my demo page. All right. So we've got that right there. I can choose to resize it. So if I'm choosing what my different options are here. So if I decided to change it from being a web page, I could, I decided actually I want to make this an infographic. You can go in and change what you're working on to another format, which is really kind of cool. Again, I can share this out, but I have all those same. So notice no matter whether I'm doing page, post, or video, I'm going to have similar tools on the right-hand side that so students get comfortable with using that option and they get comfortable with the layout of the tools. So I'm going to go back here. So when I log in, you'll notice that I've got on my homepage, when I log in, it will show right now. It's like, what do you want to do? Dive in, start with a template, or my recent projects are right here. So I can access these anywhere. And I actually, let's take a look, and you can share between accounts. So I created a couple things in my Tech Tips 411 Adobe Spark account before I created my APS one. And it was very easy for me to share it. So right here, notice it's shared with me. You can see which ones have been shared and they're all in one place. So I can go in and I can edit those, which is super cool and super slick. So that's kind of the overview of the three different tools that are available in Spark. There are, I did my best to look. I could not find the link to the Google Play version of video. Maybe I was just missing it. But I put the links here so you can get the different apps if you want to get the mobile versions. And I was going to try and show you what the mobile version looked like by connecting my iPad, but with the internet struggle bus, I'm afraid to risk it. So we won't do that today. But if you are looking for some more video tools and resources, if you want to up your game with using video in your classroom, and I'm a big proponent of using video. I used it in my classroom as a language arts teacher. I think that using video is a powerful way to engage your learners. what you can do is check out my app, which is all about video tools. It's Lights, Camera, Action, the app. So it has all different apps, tools, and resources that help teachers get started with video in the classroom. So I'm going to put the link to that in the description, as well as the presentation link and other resources I've mentioned as well. So question, I just want to pose this as a little challenge here. What is an idea that you have for using Adobe Spark with your learners? And I already had a couple people that chimed in with the infographic idea, but was there something that stood out that you're like, yes, that's what I could do with my kids? I'm already thinking about unit 1, and we're going to do this project and this task, and this would be a good tool I could use, whether it's post, video, or page. What do you think? I'd love to hear from you guys. Drop it in the chat if you've got an idea or more than one idea that you might want to use Adobe Spark with your learners. Give you guys a second to think about that. Polling the audience. All right. So while y'all are dropping those ideas in there, I would also like to say your turn. Choose one Spark tool. Here's your challenge as well, to take one of the tools and for you to create a message or resource for your students in school. So practice it. That's the best way to get comfortable with the tool, is to, I apologize, try it out yourself. So you've got a model, or an exemplar to share with your students and say, look, guys, I created this, and take a look. So I want you to choose one tool to create a message or resource for your students or school, something that would be beneficial for you. And then bonus points if you share your creation and tag me at APSITGen, #tips411 on Twitter or Facebook, so that I can see what you've created. I'd love to see what you come up with. You like all right, Miss Oregon says, I like the flyers idea. I was thinking for your foreign language students, how cool is it? They learn about different cultures, right? They learn about cultural events, and they learn about different locations where Spanish is spoken. Maybe they work either in groups or individually to create flyers about that country they've learned, or that cultural event or cultural celebration. I think it would be really, really cool. Love it. Awesome. Well, very cool. And I so apologize for the technical issues that we had today. This is a first. I've been doing these sessions. Time we've had the struggle bus with the internet, but for those of you that hung in, I have to say it's interesting to know that the live stream was still happening even though I got disconnected and you guys were still there. So our goals for today's session were to explore Adobe Spark apps and tools, and to gain some project ideas utilizing Adobe Spark. So I am going to link to the presentation, and when I link to the presentation, it will have all of those suggested project ideas, which again is not exhaustive. It's just a handful of suggestions. I'd love to hear what ideas you have to work with. Ms. Ortegon has a question. Do you think this is easier than Google Drawings? This is different than Google Drawings in the sense that you're just bringing in images and shapes and layering them together. I do think that Google Drawings is a powerful tool. And maybe you could actually have your students create something in Google Drawings and then bring it in to Adobe. You could kind of do a little app smash there. It depends on what the goal is for their tasks. And the other thing is now you've given your students some choice. So you can say, hey guys, here's a couple of tools you can try. So then students kind of feel some ownership when they have a little bit of choice. If you say your task is to create an infographic and here are your tool choices, and you could say you could use, we could say Adobe Spark, Post, Google Drawings. You can even do it in Google Slides, or maybe Canva. And if you're not familiar with Canva, I'm going to be doing a session on Canva next week. I think it's next Thursday if you want to learn about Canva. I love this. Miss Williams says the video Spark would be cool for my calculus students' first assignment, in which they have to explain how to solve various review problems that are important for working in calculus. I think that's awesome. Love it. Oh, look at this. I got a friend up north there. Jesse says these have been so much fun to watch. Great to see you. Jesse, I hate that you tuned in on one of my clusters today. The internet was on the struggle bus. It was trying my patience. But all right, we recouped. We came back together. I feel bad for someone who goes back to watch this on the archive. So for those of you in the future, I apologize now that when you're watching it, there's going to be some gaps. I apologize. Sorry about that. So those were our goals today. Hopefully you learned something, got a little bit more information about Adobe Spark. Hopefully it inspired you to try it out. Is an Adobe Spark education plan that if you set it up that your Google can be an administrator You can do like through your Google admin, and they can set it up where you can actually go in and monitor student projects. And right now under the free version, they share it with you and you have to see what they're working on. But if you're interested in that, I'll put the link in the description and you can see if your domain administrator will set that up for you guys. But the free version works great, and you can just have the kids log in. Now, obviously 13 and over with their Google accounts, they can access it. So really geared towards like middle and high school. If not, you might have them log into an account that you have. So questions, comments as we're wrapping this up, that would be awesome. Awesome. So if you haven't already done so, please check out my resources at Tech Tips 411. I've got a ton of different resources on there. And also you might want to sign up for my weekly Tech Tips 411. It's on hiatus right now, but it will resume at the start of school in July when teachers start back. I think it would be great if you sign up for that, because I always share out my favorite ed tech tips, Chrome extensions, and just kind of a resource of the week. Jesse says mashing with the Google tools is always a great idea. Yes. Anytime you can use a Google tool and use something else to kind of level up is definitely awesome. So some of you tuned in live on my Facebook page, and thank you for tuning in that way. If you haven't already liked and checked out my Facebook page, it has also share my live streams there as well, and resources as I share them out. And some of you might want to go ahead and check out these archives on my YouTube channel. I've got an entire playlist that's all the streaming PD as I shared out. And last but not least, I'd like to mention my mobile app, created Google with Glide apps, and it is a super slick app that has everything on my website in the palm of your hand, so you can get all those resources and tips and tricks and sort and search just there on the mobile app if you want to check it out. So I've been doing several different sessions, and this has been fun. I enjoy sharing this with teachers. I created these sessions based on teacher requests in my district, the schools I work with, and then I just thought I would share it with the world in case anybody else wanted to tune in, and I'm loving that we have people from all over tuning in. So upcoming sessions, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about online collaboration tools. I will be off on Thursday because I will be presenting at a conference on Thursday. We've gone virtual, and I'm super excited about that. Then I'll be back on Friday for apps for the 4 C's. And then the final week sessions include tips for Office 365, screen recording, video creation tools, creating with Canva, and my last but least not. I would love for you guys to for us to connect, and you can connect at any of these social media resources so that we can stay connected. So thank you so much. Hopefully you found this session beneficial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Sorry for the technical issues, internet struggle bus, but that's all right. I, as an educator, I've learned, and I will have plan B in place for tomorrow in case this happens again. But I do appreciate your attention. If you're watching this from the future, thanks for checking this out. And go ahead and subscribe so you know when the upcoming sessions are going to be. All right, that's it for today. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.